Hello.
Hello, I am Metroixer, and welcome to Let's Play Oddworld Apes Odyssey, a game that came out for the PlayStation in 1997, then later for the PC, and a game that I find to be one of my favorite games ever.
Okay.
So, there's a lot going on Oddworld, and I think the best way to approach it is to just jump in, watch the opening cutscene, see where that gets us. We will only be playing one-player mode.
Follow me.
Two-player mode is like that Super Mario Bros. Two-player. Not legit at all.
This is Rupture Farms. They say it's the biggest meat processing plant on Oddworld. I used to work here. Well, I was really a slave, like all the others. That's me. My name is Abe. I was Employee of the Year. Now I'm dead meat. I crossed the meanest boss in the world, Mullet the Gluckin. My whole life changed in just one day. I was working late one night at Rupture Farms. We used to make meat munchies. Until the meaches were through. We still made pearmite pies. And we made some good scrap cakes too. I thought I had a good job, but that was before I knew. How we'd make new and tasty, I was still to find. The truth, it turned out. Now that would blow my mind. The Gluckins were scared, 'cause profits were grim. Hermites and scrabs had been turning up thin.
They're going down. What? What are you doing? Huh? What?
But Mullet was cool.
Hey, bud.
He had a plan. This new kind of meat. It was us! I just had to escape. I just had to be free. And I didn't even know I had a destiny. So, get me out of here!
Okay, I hope you are still with us. I know, that cutscene was long, but we are finally in the game, and we are controlling our protagonist, Abe. Abe can run, Abe can jump, Abe can roll into walls. He can do everything that a smooth-lined puzzle platformer protagonist can do. And according to this sign on top, the Sligs have orders to shoot us on sight. So we should probably get going. Actually, that guy didn't look so tough. I think we could probably beat him up. Okay, so here's the deal with the Oddworld games, at least Abe's Oddysee. You can't directly fight anyone, you have to fight enemies through tricks, cunning, and puzzle solving. And there are many tricks you can use, and the game tries to trick you as well. For one thing, there are plenty of secret areas. This is one secret area, at the very first screen of the game. You might see these other guys here, I'll get to them in a bit. Right now, I will show you one of the many ways that you'll destroy your enemies. Besides pulling this lever. So these green guys, they're called Sligs. Sligs are going to be your main problem throughout the game. They have guns, and they can shoot them. But they're really dumb. And it's actually pretty easy to get rid of them. So, as long as you can observe your surroundings, know what you can work with, Sligs shouldn't be too much of a problem. Now, what you may have just seen happening there, these other guys who are kind of like us, and we can talk to them, these are called Mudokons. Now, our main objective of this game is to save all the Mudokons in Rupture Farms, which is the name of this place, in case you weren't paying attention to the cutscene. Save enough Mudokons, and you will get a good ending. Don't save enough Mudokons, and a very bad thing will happen. Now, your main way of saving Mudokons is by communicating with them. As you can see, you can give very basic commands to them, and because they are also pretty dumb, they'll just listen to you without question. You gotta lead them to these circle of birds, you chant, the birds turn into magic, and you save them. And that's basically the gist of it. And besides that, you just gotta make sure you yourself do not get killed in the many, many different ways that you can get killed. For example, those noisy things were meat grinders. If you stood under them, they would have chopped you up. Because this is a meat processing facility, it makes sense. What you see here is a map of Rupture Farms, the immediate Rupture Farms area at least. We are in Zulag 1 right now, and those dots you saw in the map are potential Mudokon spots. What you do need to keep in mind is that it doesn't show all the Mudokons.
Hello. Follow me. Wait.
Yeah, you can technically talk to these guys, but you don't really gain anything from it besides some cute little interaction. No talking to fellow employees. That is the opposite of what we want to do. That is, we want to do the opposite of no talking. Very important. The game actually gives it a term. Game speak. Very precious. Now you see that guy there, he's sleeping, and we could sneak by him if we wanted to, but then we wouldn't be able to save this guy scrubbing the wall. So Abe has one thing, one very important thing he can do, and that is possession. You can possess any Slig in the game, given that you don't have something that will immediately attack you for possession. And as a Slig, you can do things like beat people up. You shouldn't beat them up too much though, because then they'll die. You can pull levers, although I wouldn't pull this lever because it seems a little fishy. You can make strange noises. You can run goofy, but most importantly,
Here, boy. What? Get him. Wait. Look out. What?
you can shoot. There's one more thing that Sligs can do, but it doesn't show up until like halfway through the game, so we're just not going to worry about it. As you can see, possessing that guy was way more fun than just sneaking by him. I recommend possession anytime you can. Now we got that covered, let's go to our next secret area. check out that floating thing, the red thing that's making noise. If you chant, it zaps us, and that's going to be our main anti-chanting situation. If you have to get rid of the sligs in the immediate area, usually that means you gotta blow these things up. Luckily, Abe can use bombs. And that's, I guess, his only weapon he can ever really use, but there are plenty of boom bomb places around. And with some good aiming, you can do some pretty neat things with bombs. Now, you may have just noticed in the midst of me talking that that other slig actually knew I was possessed. This is fairly rare early on in the game, but as time goes on, you're really gonna want to shoot on sight immediately because sligs get pretty paranoid. So here's another anti-possession deal. As you can see, you gotta blow it up, because then we wouldn't be able to chant and we wouldn't be able to save these two guys. And that would be unfortunate. And just for clarification, in case if it wasn't obvious enough already, this is a save all run. That means saving all of the Mudokons all of the time. We don't want one dude dying because we're not monsters. We want everyone to be safe. Here's another secret area. Golly, the first area of Oddworld has a lot of secret areas. Probably the most secret areas in the game, and they do this a lot where it hides behind the foreground. If I'm right, this is actually the only part of the game, only area of the game, I'll say, that it actually does that trick. So while it is a little cheap, in my humble opinion, it does stop happening fairly quickly. So here's another puzzle that is quite like the very first one we saw in the first secret area. Much like the foreground things, there are a fair amount of these timing puzzles where you have to time your follow me's just right so that your friend doesn't get chopped up by the chopper. Luckily, again, these puzzles are really only present in this part of the game, which is fine, because I'm not a fan of them. In game speak, you only really have 3 important commands: hello, follow me, and wait. Abe can actually say up to 8 important things, but in the grand scheme of things, only about 5 or 6 of them are useful. We will explore more of these voice commands as time goes on. Another thing you may notice is that I'm only talking to one Mudokon at a time. This is probably one of the biggest problems with this game, in that you have to lead them on one by one. It's kind of annoying, and later Oddworld games address this fact, but until then we kinda have to deal with it. It's just kind of a thing. Anyway, I think this is actually the last secret that uses the foreground, so we're done with that. God bless, all hail, holy, whatever you would like to say. Here's a pulley. Let's go in it. Let's go in the pulley. Yet another thing with bombs. One thing about bomb throwing is that you can't control it. If you're crouched, you can only throw one way, but if you're standing up, you can throw in a myriad of ways. Either straight forward, straight up, kind of back, or just straight at your feet. We don't explore these very much this early on in the game, and I prefer to just throw while crouching anyway, because it just makes sense. But some things will want you to throw in a more complicated fashion, especially with bombs. Because sometimes you gotta blow up those zappy things in just the right way. Well, that's the last secret for this part. Finally, I think we can save the 2 guys that have just been scrubbing away the whole time. From what I can tell, they're just only scrubbing with their hands. That can't be good for their calluses. Or I suppose that would be good for the calluses, but not for their hands. It would be good for the calluses, because the calluses would get worse. That's how calluses work. I think so.
Wait. Okay.
Let's find out what this
Hello.
one lever does,
Hello,
because the
Bottom.
game seems
Okay.
to really want us to pull it. Oh, ho ho, that would have killed that guy. See? The game wants to trick you at every corner, and I'm here to show you these tricks and how to prevent them. We will see many more dastardly tricks as time goes on, but for now, we're at the end of the first video. Once we save these guys, we are done with the first half of Zulag 1 in Rupture Farms. So, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time when we explore more into the depths of this barrel-filled iron cathedral.